Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's Danny Limelight. And I need all of you to subscribe to According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and all other platforms.
What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of talking to my friend. She is a CrossFit athlete. She's a strong woman and the owner of Divinity Athletics in Torrance, California. She's the one and only Anne Carillo. Rachel, what's going on?
Nothing. I'm so happy to be talking with you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, the pleasure's all mine. And you are just coming off of a tremendous competition where there are a lot of competitions that are going on right now in 2020/2021, but you managed to compete. And how was that?
It was great. I actually signed up for this competition a year ago, and then COVID happened. So I've actually been practicing all of those movements in strongman for the past year. So kind of nailed it. It was a strongman competition, and actually I normally go in the 40 and over division, but this time I was like, you know what? I want to see how I do in the younger division, or it's called the Open, so anyone can be in that. And I actually won, so that was freaking awesome.
Hell yeah, fucking amazing! I think it's tremendous, and especially, just testing your limits. I mean, the years past tested everyone's limits. I think in all, like, spiritual, emotional, financial, like, it just was nutty, so for you to challenge yourself in that way and reap the rewards, that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, it was a roller coaster. I know everyone went through it, but being a gym owner, they shut my gym down. I thought my life was over. I actually had to get a day job to pay the bills. And then I also kind of branched out and started an online training business. So all of my clients ended up becoming my online clients. And we did that the transformation was like in a matter of days. I also rented out every piece of equipment in my gym to my customers. So they had an at-home gym, and then they had a trainer that I would do Zoom meetings and program them throughout the week. So I only lost maybe like 3 clients. But because we had to make so many advances and change everything, it was a lot of cost. And then the cost just kept continuing with having to move my entire gym into the parking lot, basically. So they opened up gyms, but we had to exercise outside. So that took a lot. I've redone my entire gym twice. One time was when we were allowed to go inside and we had to have different segments. So I had to buy things to have everyone have separated stuff. And then the next day they said we have to be outside. So we moved everything towards our opener, roll-up door, I would say. A roll-up door. I'm funny, sorry. And we moved everything by the door. It was just a mess, but everything was outside. But what was great is we have a huge parking lot. So we were blessed with a huge parking lot, and we're still outside. We're still following the rules, and we're outside. And then I had to train on top of all that. So it was just nuts. But, the one thing that focuses me is focusing on myself. So if I make sure that I'm right, then I will make sure that all my customers are right and that my family's right and everything. So it all starts with me. So that's why I had to get back out there, and competing is is a big part of my life.
No, 100%. And my goodness, the like the figurative and literal hoops that you had to jump through. I mean, things that you have to lift to kind of, do this transition. I mean, it's kind of nothing normal. I mean, abnormal for you, because, I mean, that's something that as a, an athlete, you are pretty prone to do, but it was just, it almost uniquely suited you to kind of,
You're right. You're very smart, because it was moving everything was just like, this is what we do. We move things. In strongman, yeah, we pick things up and we put them down. So this time we just did what we knew how to do.
Yeah, man. Believe me. I mean, it's weird. We used to, being at pro wrestling MMA shows and like almost every other weekend, if not every weekend, up until for 4 years up until March, and then I didn't do. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't do much. I was like, we didn't know if the world was going to end, or we had what is it like the killer bees and like the COVID and just like all of this stuff, and I was just like, I don't know if I'm gonna live, like whatever. So didn't do
Wait
anything.
a minute. Did you say killer bees?
There was killer bees. That was a thing. The
I missed that. They didn't go down my block. I'm sorry, but I kept that.
There was killer bees. There was like aliens, maybe an asteroid. That was all like 2020. Like I was just like, But it wasn't until July that I started this podcast in this form, and we're like 300 some odd episodes in, closing in on 400 just since July. Just because I'm like, I need to figure things out. Like I want to figure out people who are also figuring it out and how they're doing it, and also as kind of a canary in a coal mine kind of community, to like if you're dealing with a lot of whether it be mental, financial, all this strife that is coming at you, let's kind of talk it out. Because, I would see people, friends, like argue with the particular belief systems or voting or whatever the heck. And I'm like, let's just do it here. Let's just do it here. I'm a friend. I'm not going to crap on anything, whatever. This is open and honest discourse. And, we have people chime in. So it was just like, it was a means of figuring out, which you did, and especially, like you said, as a business owner, as an athlete, like the world can't stop theoretically, because there's so many people that have invested in you, both literally and figuratively, in their own self-worth and their own transformations.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you were able to mold yourself, and that's what I did, and that's why we're here. That's why we survived, because when like Shiza hits the fan, that's German, by the way.
Yeah.
You gotta do something. You can't just let it take you out. You gotta mold, you gotta change, you gotta go with it. So that's cool. I'm glad you did that.
Yeah, but I mean, just kind of tackling the last year and what it presented, that's a very, very small minutia into the story of Rachel Carillo, and especially in your fitness journey. So, like, how did it all begin? Because, like, I know I had a 3-hour block when I was a kid, when I was living in San Francisco. It was monster trucks, American Gladiators, and professional wrestling, WWF, right? And I kind of went with the WWF kind of deal, like wanting to be a wrestler first and then announcer after. That's what my mom was like, you're going to break your nose and everything like that. So you should try and wear that announcer jacket and whatever, because they're going to have longer careers than the wrestlers and what have you. She was right. But I
like
just
that.
as well, could have done the American.
And you still have your nose, so that's good.
Yes, I do. It's big. It's huge. But I mean, it's something that I've grown into, so it's good. There are elementary school pictures of me, and the National Enquirer had this thing called Bat Boy, and one could argue that I look like Bat Boy.
Bat Boy?
Yes. Oh.
Did you say Bat Boy?
Bat Boy. Oh yes. Oh, I will send you some articles in the DMs, because
I definitely want to see that. Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yes,
my story.
Yes.
You want to hear my story?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, you're gonna laugh or tease me, but it all started with roller skates. I don't know if you know that.
No.
I was a competitive, artistic roller skater from the age of 3 till I would say 16, national champion pair skater. So that's where it all started. I spent 5 hours a day as a child leaving school and just beating myself into the ground, falling all over the place, working those jumps, trying to stay flexible, the whole bit since I was 3 years old. So that was a lot. That was a lot for a child. After that, I actually had an injury. And so I ended up, I actually fractured my head or skating. Yeah. I ended up going back but it just didn't have the same fire. I conquered and I went back and then it didn't have the same fire. But after that, I got hired to roller skate in a touring roller dance company.
Right on.
I'm not kidding. So I was on tour for 7 years with probably the only roller dance company to ever exist. Made my living. So that was cool. I got to see the world. And then, after you stop doing what you did as a child, sometimes athletes become lost. And I got into a lot of drinking and drugs and staying out. And so my story is, like, when someone spends that much time as a child, it could be wrestling, it could be football, and then they stop out of nowhere, they're just done. A lot of athletes have a hard time figuring out what to do with themselves. It's like having a racehorse, and then all of a sudden they're stuck in the corral and they can't go anywhere and they're depressed. And I'm basically a racehorse. So that's what happened to me. And then to pull myself out of that, I decided I was just going to become a triathlete. I didn't know how to swim. And I didn't really know how to ride a bike as well. I had been on my roller skates my whole life. I never did anything else except roller skate. And then running, everyone tries running to lose weight and all that. But so I became an endurance triathlete, and then I wanted to be the best triathlete in the world. So, and the more the better. So I became an Ironman triathlete, which is the 2.4 mile swim, the 116 mile bike, and then a marathon after. And so I spent most of my days just exercising. And it was basically like I was Forrest Gump. He just kept running until one day he stopped. That was me. I just kept pounding myself in the ground. Of course, I was doing well. I'd compete and I'd win. I ended up getting like third at the world champion qualifier, and they only took 2. So that was kind of the top for me. But I was in just ridiculous, incredible shape. But what I realized was I was just trying to wear myself down so I didn't have to deal with reality.
Wow.
So, yeah. And I think that's the athlete thing, spending 5 hours a day, kind of I was actually always a sick child too, because I was exhausted. I had my church and things I had to do, and then I had my skating, and then I had school, and I was just an exhausted child. So I only know how to run out of exhaustion. Like, I know how to function out of exhaustion. So that's what I did again. I became a runner and a cyclist. I would spend 500 hours on my bike a week, literally 500, not 500 hours, sorry. I would do 500 miles on my bike a week. It was a lot. And then I would run at least 20 miles a week. And then I would do 2 days at the pool. And it was just, I had a part-time job. The rest of the day was just exercising. On the weekends, I would exercise from dawn till dusk. From dawn till dusk. I mean, I was just literally in impeccable shape. I think my resting heart rate was like 32, which was the same as like Lance Armstrong, who I was trying to be like on my bike, So I was just in rad shape. But, I ended up meeting someone, getting married, and they don't run, they didn't bike, they didn't swim. So I would literally never see him. So I had to make some sacrifices. And then within that sacrifice of also having a child, I realized I can't have anything else in life unless I calm the hell down. So I know I'll just talk your ear off, but
that's what podcasts are for.
So yeah, I realized my daughter brought me Cincher, and I realized, you know what? I need to do something that only takes like an hour. Just not just an hour, but I need, at least 2 hours, not 8 hours or 5 to 6 hours. I need to find a sport where I can get what I want to get out of it in, 2 to 3 hours max. So I was like, okay, I'll just become a power lifter. And after having the baby, I just felt weak. I was so weak. I was very thin. I lost weight and I had a 6-pack actually 3 months after having the baby. But I felt so weak and I hated that feeling. So I was like, let me just do something really off the wall and just become a power lifter. So I trained with, just random. So I transformed myself, and in 3 months, I only trained for 3 months, and I ended up setting the state record in both the squat and the deadlift. So my legs were super strong from running hills and doing a bike that I didn't even have to really have any learning curve. My arms weren't that great back then because I didn't do much on my arms, and I was a horrible swimmer anyways. So when I set those records, I was like, wait a minute, I could do this, and I only have to train, 5 days a week, just do some, pumping out. It's a lot easier. So after I set those records, I was like, wait a minute, I want to learn how to snatch and clean and jerk, because those look really scary to me, and I want to do something I'm scared to death of. So unfortunately, I got led into, or I should say fortunately, I shouldn't be like that. I got led into a CrossFit gym. So they don't know, a lot of coaches, they know how to clean and jerk and snatch, but it's nothing like getting like a national level Olympic lifting coach. So, but I realized that CrossFit was a great match for me because I was strong and I was fast and I had cardio, and so it was like a really good combination for me to get into. And I would just take a 1 hour class, and maybe I would come a little early and do a little extra, but I could still have my family and spend time with my daughter and work. So at this point, I had my own gym too. I was running my own gym, and I was trying to search for things that I can bring to my own gym as well. I was just a fitness gym, and I would just have people do minute intervals and stuff. So I wanted to add more things to my gym and to my clients. So that's another reason why I was on this search of doing all these different things. So I was learning CrossFit, and then within a year, I made it to the CrossFit Regionals, which is extremely hard to do. I know it's not the CrossFit Games, but I made it to the CrossFit Regionals, and I was top 20 in Southern California at one point in my life. I could say that. I also, at that point, I was 20. No, not 20. I wasn't 20. I like to, maybe I told everyone I was 20. I think I was, I'm 20 now. Yeah. All of that put into 20 years. No, I'm 42. So I've had a lot of life in there. But at the time when I was doing CrossFit, I was about 30, maybe 32 or 33. So I accomplished that. And then I realized, doing an online qualifier just sucks. I want to go somewhere and prove my fitness. And with CrossFit, you had to do an online qualifier first. And you're supposed to just trust, oh, sure, that was your time. Oh, sure. And that kind of just irked me because I knew I was in the best shape of my life at the year after regionals. I was going to go back in and I was just going to give it my all. And it really irks me because I really felt like I was better than the placement that I got. And I wasn't able to go to regionals that year. And that just deflated me because I felt like it was just not a good setup. They need to have a sectionals or regionals or something smaller before regionals, like a sectionals. I don't understand why we can't go to an event. Well, now I know, but back then to prove my fitness in person. And so that really got to me, and I decided I didn't want to compete in that anymore. And so it is the best strength and conditioning program I've ever seen in my life. I'm not going to talk about it any further. I'm moving on.
Yeah, no,
Next.
absolutely.
Next. I'm almost done with my story. So I did that. And, I have my triathlon background and I have my CrossFit background now. And then I was like, you know what? I need to get better at clean and jerking and snatching. That's what I wanted to do. I'm already a great deadlifter. I can bench. I can do all this. This one thing I haven't learned is the Olympic lifts to a point where I'm at a high level. So I went to a local gym here with a national level coach. His name is Sean Waxman. He's moved to Utah because of the COVID, unfortunately, but he taught me how to perfect my lifts. And I ended up qualifying for the American Open at the age of 38, I think. And so I was the oldest lady there, just giving it to them. So I didn't do great in the competition, even though I did get a good score. But I wasn't expecting that. All I saw was like, I need to get to this place. I need to qualify and get there. So I was very proud of that. And I love the Olympic lifting. And then honestly, I ended up buying a gym that was owned by a strongman. And now I'm on this strongman rampage. It is like the craziest sport ever. I mean, it's so simple, though. It's just like, pick this up, put that over there, walk over there, put this house on your back, go running, like just crazy shit, Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, you
Did I say shit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can say shit. Fuck yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Because I have a truck driver's mouth.
That's fine. My mom affectionately called me, because she's from a British Commonwealth called Fiji, affectionately called me a bloody shit, like up until the day she passed away. So
I like that.
Go for
I like
it.
that.
Go for it.
That makes sense.
We're friends, but also the bloody shit. So
That's pretty nasty. When you really think about it, that's more nasty than you're thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, now I'm on a strongman craziness, and a lot of people are scared of strongman. And honestly, it's been nothing but so much fun to learn all these new implements. And it could be anything. They could say, I want you to take this tire and I want you to like throw it across the parking lot. And then whoever throws it the furthest, it wins. Like, or, take this tire and flip it. And then I want you to pull this sled and then put this on your back and run here. It's just craziness. So it's just right up my alley. So I'm having a lot of fun with it. And then, of course, now whatever I'm doing, my clients have to do. So everyone is going to be a strong man or woman. And that's just the way it is. And so I'm really excited because I bought all of these new implements from beginner level all the way up to advanced. But I have a lot of beginners and I have a lot of women too, which is exciting, because they're middle-aged women. I think I inspire that kind of group. And they're just out there 6 a.m. in the freezing cold, just lifting logs and doing all this cool shit, bloody shit. And I'm pretty proud of that. I like what's going on here.
No, absolutely. Nate Wren, who's an athlete in his own right, a runner as well as a boxer, he says that's pretty impressive. No, agreed.
Thank you.
That is infinitely impressive. Now, obviously, you have always centered yourself around sport, right? From roller skating, and even the fact that you were getting paid to do shows, that didn't curb the athletic, kind of pursuits of one young Rachel, right? Like, you're just like, I have to compete again, right? And yeah. I want to know, because the triathlete, that is essentially, your first kind of mountain to climb, right? After the roller skating career competitively, as well as the showman aspect of it. Once that was done, you set your target to marathon and triathletes and everything. What was it about that world that brought you in?
You want to know how I became a triathlete?
Yeah, like what was it? Like, did you just go like, oh, because it's not something that you would normally see on TV. A couple times a year on ABC, you might get one, but
You're
How
so
did it?
smart. You're very smart because you just know those little niches of like what to ask because you know where the little grimy stuff is. So yeah, exactly. I got a boyfriend at the time and he was into it. So I wasn't into it at all because I didn't know how to swim and I didn't have a bike. And you know, they have expensive bikes, like $5,000, $10,000 bikes. And I wasn't going to buy one of those. I've never even had a cruiser. So yeah, random sport for me to get into. What happened was I would have to go, and I was dragged to these races. And you know, they do the carb load the day before.
Yeah.
So I would be right there with him, like getting the carbs, getting the loading. And the next day he would do the race, burn all the calories. And I would be on the sidelines going, good job, as my thighs were growing. And then after the race, there was always like the celebration, the beer and the taquitos and the guacamole. And yet I wasn't doing the race, so I didn't deserve that. So I put on 15 pounds basically, and that was it. I said, that's it. I'm gonna have to learn how to swim. If we're gonna be together, I'm gonna have to learn how to swim. I'm gonna have to do a bike. You're paying for the bike, and I'm gonna become a triathlete just so I can carb load and eat after. So that is originally why I got into this sport, and it just went mayhem from there. But yeah, see, I knew you knew how to get the dirt.
I think it's fun, right? Because, you know, a lot of people, right? Even like strongmen, like I've heard strongmen, you know, that they're like, oh, there are people that love to eat, you know, because most people are just like, oh, you can eat anything. No, it's very regimented and what have you, right? But some people are like, I hate eating this. But you're like, oh, my God, I get to eat that and call myself an athlete? Sign me up, like whatever, right? So the fact that you wanted to earn, you know, those taquitos and beer, and you wanted to carb up without, like, you know, and again, you have always been an athlete, right? So I could see where that, I'm even surprised that it took like the 15 pounds to kind of get you there, because I would be like, Rachel, you do that on day two. You do that on day two, right?
Yeah, it took me only one race to gain that 15 pounds. It was his race, not my race. So yeah, I enjoy food. Yeah.
Me too.
That's why it was really hard to lose weight. I actually have to be 140 pounds to compete in the lightweight strong woman division, and I'm 5'8", and man, it's a lot to get down there. So yeah, this last cut was like treacherous. By the time I was driving over to the weigh-in, I literally had to tell myself, breathe in, breathe out. You're going to make it. Breathe in, breathe out. You're going to make it. I mean, yeah, I felt like my lungs were shutting down. My organs were going. And, but I had some nice abs, that's for sure. And then I weighed in and I kicked butt. So I think I did it right. Maybe I shouldn't have to drop so much weight. It was after quarantine. So I was 15 pounds up. So yeah, that was a lot. My boyfriend's sitting here. He's trying to tell me to tell you that my scale was off. I thought I was 10 pounds up and I had to lose 10 pounds. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot when you're already really lean. So, and then I realized that my scale was 5 pounds off. So I only had 3 weeks left and I had another 5 pounds to lose on top of the 3 other pounds that I had to lose. So I had like 3 weeks to lose 8 pounds. And I'm not a big water cut person. So I kind of wanted to lean. I know I should get better at it, but I just also didn't want to be dehydrated and all that. So I did a water cut, a little water cut. I probably lost 4 pounds of water, but yeah, it was a weight scale malfunction. I was very upset to find out that I was actually 5 pounds heavier than I thought I was at the last minute. Yeah. Can you imagine? So I almost got pretty violent with the scale. And then I ordered another scale, like this big doctor's scale. And I was like, this is going to tell me exactly where I'm at. And I went over and it took me all the way up to 165. And it's one of those doctor scales where it just has to go up or down and you have to hit it and you got to like, oh, you guys know you're weighing in, but you have to like have the magic touch.
Yeah.
So I learned how I could just keep going and it will tell me what I wanted to say. The finesse of the scale.
Well, I mean, it's funny because I personally think like weight cutting is just fucking horrible because it happens a lot of time in MMA, and it's something that I think in at least in MMA that was kind of in the quest to take it from like the backyard smoker, like unregulated whatever, to kind of get it through to the state athletic commissions. They borrowed from wrestling, they borrowed from boxing, that like you have weight cuts as an athlete, but I don't think there's a real need because I see there's a lot of even active fighters and what have you that are looking at, a picture of a particular fighter at a weight cut on the scale when they're dehydrated. And like, that's where I want to get to, or even in weight loss goals, right? People that aren't involved in MMA or jiu-jitsu and whatever, and they're like, I want to look like that person on the scale. I'm like, no, that person is literally close to death. Like, they're close to death.
Right.
Don't do it. You're going to kill their kidneys.
Right. I mean, it's nice to take the pictures of the abs and be like, look how lean I am at one point, which I do. I'm guilty. But honestly, I know you saw that picture of my abs. You got check my Instagram out and look at that picture of my abs. It's not there now. Don't expect to see it now. But yeah, it's true. It's not, I would say leading up, like the first, if I say 10 weeks to kind of drop and get ready, the first 5 weeks, I actually am not losing any strength, I feel, because I'm going from maybe eating rice and potatoes to my body is not liking that to more spinach and more fruits and more kind of whole foods. Less gluten, and I always feel like a pickup, like when I start losing weight at first, like I have more energy. I start taking care of myself a little more. I start drinking more water, and so I think the switch is like I gotta lose weight, and then you expect that you're gonna lose some of the strength, which is a scary thing for me because I gotta be strong. Mm-hmm. But I end up being able to maintain my strength very well. My body loves to not eat carbs. I know, and I have a problem with that, So the more lettuce and stuff I eat, I'm like Popeye. If I eat spinach, I get stronger. So as I get closer to the last 5 pounds that I said are just treacherous. I don't think I should be down that far. I'm probably, 8%. I don't know, maybe 7% this time. I mean, my abs were so sunken in. It's kind of a great show to like, people can look at that and go, oh yeah, I see that. That's a specimen. That's what the body looks like with no fat on it. Great. But is it something that we should be maintaining all the time? No. I think, there is a certain special weight for every person that's great for functioning. You're eating well, you're not overeating, you're not splurging too much, but you also need to have some reserves. And you need to be freaking hydrated, like not walk around like dying like that. And so, yeah, people do get confused. There is a healthy weight that people need to be at, and that's not it. That's not it. The weigh-in for that is not it. So.
No, not at all. But I love the fact that you're competing in strong woman competitions because, like, I'm that dude. Like, anytime that it comes on ESPN, I am watching it. It is people from places I've never heard of. People, names that, I mean, with my Inglewood High School education, it's a struggle to kind of pronounce. Arudis Savinkus and Bill Kazmaier is commentating and stuff like that.
Even their names sound strong.
Yeah, I'm all like, oh, leg block. I'm like, okay, yeah. And they're flipping barrels. They're pulling cars. I just saw the most
Yes.
recent incarnation that they did in the Central Valley, where it's literally like a wheel, like a big
Oh, yes.
fucking wheel, and
Yeah.
they just take a log and
The
they
Arnold,
push it
yeah.
along. Yeah, I'm like, holy shit. And that's my thing. That's why I love pro wrestling. That's why I love MMA. That's why I love jiu-jitsu. That's why I love watching strongman competition. I will watch all that shit all day, because it was a point where my parents, right, they didn't want me when we were living in
Right.
San Francisco. We lived in the city in a Victorian apartment, right? So I was watching Superman, and I was quite impressionable. The last thing that my parents wanted was for me to be like Superman and fly out the fucking window. So they were like, no Superman, right? No Superman, right? So it was just like, when I found wrestling, it was just like cool shit that you could do. Like somebody of, any kind of birthright, if you're able, physically able, you can do. I mean, it's going to take a shit ton of work, but it's something that you can achieve. If you want to be strong, if you want to do the backflips, if you want to, like, whatever somebody could do. So in terms of going from, I mean, again, this is amazing. Roller skate, athlete, right? Go marathon, triathlete, there, right? CrossFit, there, top 20 in the state of Southern California, which all of the athletes, I mean, Southern California is essentially,
You're
yeah,
so
it's a art. I mean, it's a martial arts, strong woman haven. Muscle Beach, and then go on from there. There's so many great gyms. Yours, one of them. So in terms of the things that you've kind of parlayed from all of the other physical exertion and competition in your life, how did it readily suit you for strong women competitions?
I think I was cut out to be a strong woman a long time ago. I just finally fell into my right category. I would be in CrossFit, and even though, let me just stop for a second and tell you about what I think is amazing about the body, and what I've proven with my body is that if you have a clear mind and you say, hey, I wish I could do that. First thing a lot of people say is like, I can't do that. I got neck pain. I can't do that. I was born with a shorter leg, or whatever it is. It's always, I can't do that. They can do that. But for me, it was always different. It was, if they can do it, I can do it. And that was just the difference between me and most people, I would say, because I work with my clients and they have that block. And so my whole life, I've come up with how to set a goal and then accomplish it with hard work and focus. And I'm really not a talented person. I'll say that. Be like, oh, well, you were born that way. I was born this frail little anorexic looking girl. I wasn't born like stocky or anything. Like I'm like that skinny girl that can't put on muscle type. But out of pure determination, I've gotten myself where I am now. Like, and consistent hard work. I have not stopped training for even 1 week. Not even 1 week for 20 years. So that is really why I'm successful at whatever I do, because I am consistent, and I believe I can do it. Those are the two most important. And yes, I've had to work on this a lot. And but what I found was, especially with people that roller skated with me as children, they kind of stopped there. They still might be doing it in their 40s, and that's fine for them. But for me, it was like, once I'm 30, I'm never putting my skates on again. I wanted to make sure that I could start over. And I'll tell you what, it was really hard to swim across the pool and almost drown and then say, oh, I'm going to do an Ironman one day. Like, that's pretty insane. But to me, what was more insane was to just stick to what I know and just beat a dead horse. Like, I already did what I needed to do. I wanted to start as a beginner and humble myself, which I've had to do in every sport, starting over, weightlifting too. Like, oh man, especially when the national level coach is looking at you and is like, that is shit. That is a lot of shit. That he doesn't have an accent. But
he's France from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. I heard it. So, yeah, okay. So, and then to just be like, it's okay. It is shit now, but it's going to be amazing later. I'm just going to show up tomorrow. I'll show up tomorrow. Today's not a good day. I'll show up tomorrow. I just keep showing up. And that's what I would like to bring to my clients as well, and my athletes. It's like, just keep showing up. Just take one day at a time. And that just starts to build. And then all of a sudden, I feel like that's why I'm so scared to stop too, is you start to deteriorate. I've never really deteriorated yet. I'll say 3 months during that pandemic, that was a deterioration period. But besides that, I said that was a downtime. But for most of my life, I've always just been working, breaking down the movement, fixing it, making it better, and maybe possibly getting injured. And then how do I need to fix that? I need to fix this, and I need to come back. I'll come back stronger. And I've constantly been doing that for, 25 years. So that is key to what's happened. And honestly, I've always had this raw strength. Once I tapped into powerlifting and stuff, I didn't really know when I was a triathlete, because you're kind of just running forward, you're biking forward, you're swimming forward. You don't really know. I didn't know what I was capable of until I went to that powerlifting meet. And I was like, wait a minute, I might be strong as hell. I don't know about this. So it kind of woke up my eyes. I didn't know. And if I was too scared to do that, which was just insane for me to be like, I'm going to become a power lifter. I didn't know how to squat. I didn't know how to deadlift. And I definitely was not a bencher. So if I can inspire people to say, hey, you think something's cool, then go do it. Like, life is short. Like, even if it's just a hobby, like, don't stop yourself and say you can't do something. If that's something you want to do, just freaking go out there and do it, and stay consistent, and stop with excuses, and just work at it every day, and build your craft. And I'm rambling on, but strongman. The weird thing is I'm just, if I see an object and I harness my strength and I pick it up, I've just been really good at that. I guess, I don't know if my ancestors, used to do it or what, but even my weightlifting coach was like, I would come off after snatching, and the snatch would like go to the left, because I was just kind of a wild lady. I would go to the left and I would have to pull it back. But most people would just be like, okay, ditch. Yes. So I would take it and like put it back to center in the squat. And I'd come off the weightlifting stage, and my coach was like, you are strong. You're just so strong. Like, and he doesn't mess around. Like, he knows strong people. And so I just always knew that it was just something different about me. Like, bending bars and stuff is more my speed, I guess.
Hey, I mean, that's, if you've got that flaunt it. That's what I say, which I gotta ask, right? Like, all of these vocations, right? Being a high-level athletes a high-level athlete in everything that you've done so far, and then transitioning to a gym owner, right? You're there at Divinity, and it's crazy because we see it all the time in sports, where a lot of high-level, athletes, they don't necessarily become good coaches because they were good for them. And you almost, as we saw with like the Michael Jordan documentary, like, he was an insane person. He was fucking insane, right? And to kind of, it's almost something that is innate, right? That, like, you have this addictive personality, right? And it just feeding what makes that good, right? Like when Aerosmith were coming off of all of the drugs and, would end up going into the best run of their career in the 90s, well, they were all addictive personalities. So instead of collecting drugs, and Steven Tyler has said it, instead of collecting drugs, when they were out on tour, he would collect Happy Meal toys. Just the toys, not the meal or whatever, because it was just something to feed that, that addictive mentality that he knew, right? So
how dare you? Are you saying I have an addictive personality?
Hey, you're talking to a guy that's gotten over 400 podcasts in less than a year. I too am addictive.
You're a sick person.
I am.
Podcast. You need to go to podcast rehab.
No, never. Because here's the thing. I look across like any one of my social media feeds and I see awesome people around me doing awesome shit. And I'm all like, how do they? And I almost want to harness into that because, again, at a time where everybody is figuring stuff out. I've invested in the stock market. I've, done the Bitcoin and whatever, just trying to figure it out. But everybody is trying to figure it out, right? So that's what I want to kind of see because, like, okay, you made what normally would be somebody's, when you look at addictive personalities here in society, it is something that is almost like it's lowbrow, right? Like addictive. You associate it with drugs or whatever. But I mean, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, those are addictive personalities as well, right? Jeff Bezos, Walt Disney. You go down to anybody that has been anything, The Rock, right? Anybody that has done anything of note has been an insane person, but to transfer honestly, right?
I know. I've studied insane people, so I can be more insane, so I can win. Because you have to be. Sorry, I'm gonna say it, insane, but it's not. You have to be addicted, not just addicted, but what would be the word? Obsessed.
Yeah.
You have to be obsessed with your sport if you're gonna win. So number one, I don't know. I've read a couple books on high level athletes, and they're all crazy. And I decided that in order to win, first of all, I was crazy already. But in order to win, I had to be like that. Who is it? Lance Armstrong. I read his book. When he eats fast. So what did I do? I'm going to eat fast. Because everything I do is going to be fast. I know it sounds crazy, but the obsession, even being on my bike, I'll explain to you how obsessive it becomes. Doing an Ironman, I was on the road by myself training 500 miles. Most people couldn't keep up with me, so I would just train on my own, seriously. So I didn't want anyone holding me back. It wasn't a social thing for me. I would be running intervals the whole time. So I would literally be on my bike, up to 5 hours a day and in my aero bars. And I would see the same roads over and over. How many 100 miles, like how many different roads were there? It was like, I knew the hardest roads to take and I would take the same route most of the time because I knew it was the hardest. Plus, I'm female. I'm out there on the road. I'm by myself. I didn't want to, a mountain lion to come and get me. Like, I stuck to kind of the main roads and I'd be in there and I would be so bored. And I would even say to myself, this is freaking boring. What am I doing? I've been out here every single day for how long? So I decided I was just going to chant to myself. This is not boring. This is not boring. So I chanted to myself most of my rides. This is not boring. This is what I need to do. This is not boring. And I would just chant over and over. Sometimes I count my feet too. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 for hours. That is training for an Ironman. Like, it's just nuts. And I convinced myself that was not boring. like this was what I needed to do. I'd be going down my bike on Palos Verdes. It's very steep, and sometimes there's potholes and there's cars coming around. I'd be going about 50 miles an hour, okay? 50 miles an hour in aero, like hitting the road. Yes. And I would say to myself, if I die on my bike, at least I died doing something I love. Did I really believe that? Not really, probably. That's why I need to tell myself over and over, because that was the only way I was going to win. If I die on my bike, it's okay. This is why I'm here. This is before I had my child. Remember, because I couldn't do it anymore after that. And that's the thing. After you have a child, let me talk to the mothers that might hear this. When you have a child, everything changes in your mind. I mean, if you're a good mother, everything should change. And you no longer want to die. Like, I didn't want to die anymore. So I would actually do, even after I did a few triathlons after my daughter was born, and I would have anxiety attacks. I literally could not get to that dark place as before. And I'll tell you, I still can't get to that darkest place that I did doing those Ironmans, where I literally almost died during the race and then came out, running a marathon on literally after dying on the swim. That's a whole nother story, but literally almost drowning on the swim and then coming back and passing everyone and pulling herself together. It's just nuts. I'm not able to take it myself that far anymore. Because when I go to tell myself it's okay if I die, it's not, it's not okay. I have someone here on this earth that I need to take care of. So I've kind of had to learn, like, it's okay to not go to a point where I think I'm going to die. Like, why don't you go right before? I'll just go right before and then say, hey, just get fitter so you don't have to die to win. But it is something that I think, well, at least I had to deal with. Maybe other, especially like MMA fighter women who have kids, that must be really tough to deal with, because that's something I had to deal with. I forgot your question though. I kind of went on a rampage.
No, that's it. But I mean, even you've got your daughter, you've got your clients, right? And clients. Does your daughter, do any of the lifting stuff?
Okay, so interesting question. She is required to exercise, as I feel all humans should be. Yeah. And so I'm not a mean mom. I require, portion control. I think everyone should do this with their kids. Portion control, adapted to how much you exercise, energy out, energy in. Make sure that she has a healthy sized body. I'm not expecting her to be thin or, I don't want her to be overweight, but just maintaining a healthy body size. And I require her to exercise every week. To the extent that I do, I absolutely do not put that on her. Do I wish that I had my daughter was like, Mom, teach me strongman. Mom, teach me this. I kind of do. But my daughter was given to me as a gift, and I got what I got. So and she's lovely, and she's going to be the smart one in the family. I'm going with that. I'm the what do they call it? The bro type, the guy in the gym, or just
the meathead. The meathead.
I don't want to say guy, but you know what I mean. I'm the athlete type, and she's a totally different type, and that's okay.
No, it's funny because like my dad, right? My mom, she was like pilot reporter. That was my mom's deal. My dad, he grew up in Indiana and played music, much like a certain family in Indiana called the Jacksons, right? So his way was like, he wanted us to play music, me and my sister, like from sun up to sundown and whatever. And I just didn't get it. So in many respects, like, a failure in my dad's eyes, but, I made it in my mom's eyes, right? But I mean, who's to say? They're both not here, in this existence, so who's to say? But funny thing, all of my kids, all musical, all artistic, don't like MMA, don't like pro wrestling, whatever. That wasn't the prerequisite, So I'm all like, whatever this is for you, whatever that suits you, that's what you do.
Yeah.
But funny enough, got one grandbaby. That one, he's the only one. Baby Abel is the only one that will sit down and watch like MMA and lifting shit with me. So I'm all like, I'm not pushing it, but I'm just saying maybe it skips a generation.
I think it does, but I'm not going to find out because I'm not going to have another kid. But yeah, I've had to really kind of say, like, don't put my stuff on my child. You know, I think it's a good way to go because they need to find their own thing. And I don't, as a child athlete, spending all that time in the roller rink and all that, I'm grateful for it from my life, but I wouldn't want to strip that from my daughter. My route worked out fine. But there's many times where child athletes, it doesn't work out, you know, later. And I feel like her education is number one, and with my family, it was secondary. So I had to find my way through fitness and being an athlete to become what I am. And the knowledge of sports and stuff like that, that's where I come from. But my family was very different. So they didn't encourage like going to college or anything like that. They were very religious. So that's a whole nother story. But so, you know, it's just better that you allow your kids to find their way, I think. That's my 2 cents.
No, 100%. I agree with you 100%. Now, one thing, obviously, you are the owner of Divinity Athletics there in Torrance, California, right? So you're obviously your daughter hasn't picked up, you know, your kind of ideology behind athletics, but your clients have. Your clients have, right? And like I was saying, in terms of, you know, elite level athletes and whatever, it's hard for them to go to coaching, right? Because, you know, it's a selfish thing. Like, it's me, you know, like you were saying in terms of you biking and training for that, you know, like it wasn't a social thing. It was just you,
right.
And you had your goal in mind. So now you kind of have to pivot because as a gym owner, your bread and butter, so to speak, I didn't mean to make a carbs reference, but I did. Sorry.
I'm hungry.
Oh, no. Oh, sorry. But, I mean, you basically transfer your knowledge, your experience, and everything that you've done to your clients, right? And how has that been, especially as an athlete yourself, how have you been able to pivot where you can coach others?
Yes, you tried to ask me that a little bit earlier, and I went on a rampage. Sorry about that. That's an important question. So, yes, normally people that are good athletes are horrible coaches, right? That's what we hear. I'm not going to say I'm a horrible coach. I definitely am harder. First of all, I'm not a personal trainer. I'm really not. You know, even though I am, I'm really not. I'm guiding them through their life and their journey in fitness. And it's a huge part of everyone's life. Like, I want to lose weight. I need to do this so I can see my grandkids. And, you know, it is important. It is a special thing. And I feel I'm a coach that I'm able to I'm doing what I did for myself for them, which is find something you like. And they don't have to do strongman, even though I try to convince them to. Find something you like. A lot of people, at times it's been like Spartan races. And they find their niche. It's like, okay, I'm going to train you to get fit for a Spartan race, which is right up my alley because triathlons and CrossFit and you know, throwing things it's all wound up into I'm able to prepare them for that moment. And that's what I'm really good at. So if someone's working out, and they're like, I think I want to do a Spartan race. It's like, okay, I got your plan because I'm a planner. So it's going to take, 4 months for you to get ready. First, you're going to do this, and then you need to lose some weight. So we need to get you on the diet. And then you're going to do this many times a day. You're going to take this class that's going to suit you well. And then you need to take a private lesson because we need to work on your gymnastics. And so you see how I get all amped because that's what I love. And then they're prepared. I don't like it when people show up to things and they're completely unprepared and they're like, I hated that. It's like, yeah, because you didn't do any work. So reason why people love doing events, it could be a strongman competition, it could be a 5K, it could be a triathlon, it could be whatever it is. I could still train them for it. And what I'm good at is the planning and the training. And what I do is I train them, I hate to say so hard, I train them so well. It's true. I train them so well that when they show up that day, it's easy. They already did the work before they got there. Yeah. So just like I just had 4 masters athletes, so 40 and over, even a 56-year-old, go to a strongman competition for the first time in their life. And they went with me, and I competed the same day, which was craziness, but I did it. That's a whole nother thing. But so I prepared them. I said, we're going to get serious. They're always taking class and staying in shape, so they already have that. But then I prepared them. I said 3 months, and I wrote their program, and the gym, they have to follow exactly the program. And then, each person has their own thing. Hey, my ankle's hurting. Okay, well, we need to lay off this. We need to do this. So for me, it's not like, hey, come in here and I'm going to beat you to death with a bunch of burpees and cardio. That's not what I do at my gym. There's gyms all over the place that do that. It's like, you come into your class and like, oh, wow, that was a great class. You just did 100 burpees and you walk away, you're like, okay, I got a good sweat. But what really did you learn from that? What really did you take away? Are you more knowledgeable as a person of how to get more in shape? Do you have a better foundation so that you can lift heavier next time? There's so much more to running a class, especially here at my gym, than just giving them a great workout and sending them on their way. For here, it's more of like your journey. I get to know each person. It's a small group situation. Each person, I literally I'm like Rain Man when it comes to recognize. I'm serious. There's a lot of things I'm not good at, but Rain Man stuff is good. So like today I had 2 ladies, they have a new log. I just bought them 50-pound logs, and they'll clean them. They'll clean them up to their chest, but they're scared. They're like, one day I'll get it overhead. Well, I gave them a barbell today, and I said, you need to do 8 reps of strict press. Don't use your legs or anything, and just see what you can do. And I put no pressure on them, and they went out there and they're doing 55 pounds strict press. And they're in their 40s, and they don't do what I do. They're not athletes. They work a 9-to-5 or whatever. So it was pretty awesome. They're pressing 8 reps. And then I went up to them and I said, hey, the log is 50 pounds, and you just did this barbell with weights 55 pounds for 8 reps. So don't tell me you can't lift that log over your head. And they're like, wow, you're right. I said, okay, next week we're lifting that log over your head. So that's really, I'm able to get real personal and help them with their journey. And that's what I do well as a coach. I'm not great at that like easy go-getter that's like a 9-to-5. He just wants to get his ass beat in class and go along his way. I'm more about the journey of each person that comes in. It takes a lot of work. It's exhausting for me, and I am exhausted at the end of the day. And then I have to train myself to be an athlete as well. It's like this. When I was doing all those Ironmans and doing 500 miles on my bike and running a marathons and just like nuts, I feel like that kind of volume prepared me for my life. So some days when I have to run a gym, I have, members I have to deal with. I got all of that. And then I have my daughter. Then we have the pandemic, and then I got my relationships. And then I need to be an athlete. That's a lot. Now, all that work I did as an endurance athlete, when I wake up some mornings and I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, I say, I did Ironman. Every day is an Ironman right now. Every day is an Ironman. If I was doing that kind of training that day, and I can't just get up and check my email and just help people, and then do my training, I have the endurance for it. I put all that work in my body. Just wake up and just freaking do it. So I coach myself through my days to get through all the coaching I need to do, coaching of myself, and then managing my life. Yes, it's a lot, wondering when I can retire, but I don't think it's going to happen for me.
No, I mean, and that's what I wanted to get to is the end game. What is the end game, right? For somebody that has done so much with their life, especially in the realm of athletics, is it where you want to get your gym? Do you want Divinity to be considered almost to the same kind of conversation as West Side Barbell, or is it your personal?
Oh, we're way better than them.
Ooh, so.
Just throwing that out there.
Yes, yeah, but I mean,
they look at my stuff. I think they're a little nervous.
Okay, I like it. I like it, and that's a really. That gym has been synonymous since the 70s with this insane strongman and whatever. For you as somebody that hasn't maybe done it as long, I mean, they've been doing it as long as you've been alive, and the fact that you are able to kind of be in the same conversation, that's got to be cool.
That's awesome.
Yes, 100%. And that's the thing. Like, why do I do all these podcasts? Because again, I'm friends with a lot of podcasters that I would even argue might be better than I. And I just see amazing stuff happening all around me. So I'm all like, come, I want to know whatever. Because again, training the mind, right? Almost in ways, even though training the body is difficult. Training the mind is something completely different. You're dealing with people's trauma. You're dealing with people's bullshit. You're what they've been said, what has happened to them, where they grew up. You're dealing with all of it, and then for you to be able to get these results out of, again, like you were saying, you put 5 pounds more, right? That would normally be on a log, and you basically task them to do it, and you basically challenge their kind of innermost, grudge and whatever, and show them that even with all of the shit, they can do it. So I think that's incredible.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, the end game. I got bigger and better things. I'm going to put this out there. I want to make strongman. I know strongman, strong woman. I know they gotta switch that. I want to make it more widespread. I want to bring it to the average housewife. I know it sounds crazy, but I think I can do it. The structure of how to learn strongman, it's so hard to people to get information on how to learn strongman. You have to be a buddy with, the guy that does it at the gym, and you got to find the perfect gym that has the right equipment. And then on top of it, the equipment starts too heavy. Like some of the logs are, already starting at 150 pounds, and you have to already be strong. So they're lost. Like, how can I become that? Or is that even attainable? So I want to be able to bring it to your average person and have the correct training program and have it affordable, accessible, and in a short, and 1 hour a day. Yeah, I'm trying really selling it. And 1 hour a day instead of, because most people, they only have an hour a day. So if you go with the average, strong man who's going to help you learn, and they meet you, and it takes them 3 hours to get through their workout. And then that person's like, I don't have 3 hours every day to do that. It needs to be compact. It needs to be focused. It needs to be affordable, and it needs to be accessible. And they need to have the right equipment for people who can't lift that heavy. So I'm hoping I know no one's done it. No one's done this. And I just put that out there, but that's my plan. And so my life has really just begun. I had a long road ahead because I'm starting to dabble with that with my gym now. And we're the only gym that provides a strongman class every 6 days a week. You can't go to a strongman class. You can go to Strongman Saturday. A lot of gyms have a Strongman Saturday. They have like one keg. They have one joke. Like, I am investing and trying to provide something that, as I said, is compact, and it's a full program throughout the week. So you got to come every day. Or you talk to me about your program. Maybe you come 3 times a week, but it all works together as a way to help these average people become the strongest they could have ever imagined. And that's what the sport of strongman does anyways. And that's why I want to bring it to just your average person, because the things that they are able to do if they follow my program, they are unbelievable. And it's so awesome to see. I have a 58-year-old woman who came to me. She was a runner. And I tell people, don't run, even though I used to be a runner. Don't run. It's the worst thing for your body. Yeah. All the wear and tear on your body, doing the same pounding, 10 times your body weight, coming down on your ankles. Not the best way to get in shape. I hate to say that, but, I used to be crazy. But now she's literally squatting 125 pounds on her back. She's almost 60 years old. Okay, so I got her she used to have sciatic issues. I got her to be able to, her neck, everything. And that's from running. That's not even from weightlifting. I've loosened her up. She's squatting 120 pounds now for 5 reps. I forgot about that. She just did that this week. She's pressing 80 pounds over her head. And she's in no pain. She has to do her body maintenance, which is a big part of my gym. It's not only just lifting, but if you're not doing your homework, you come to me and you're like, my shoulder hurts. I was like, well, did you do your homework? I don't think you did your homework. So they're sent home with things they need to do to maintain their body, which is absolutely key. Don't just go out and just start lifting heavy and then go to bed. It's just not going to work. So there's a lot of self-care that I'm teaching everyone as well. And then, just seeing the benefits of, a 60-year-old woman able to do some badass stuff is all the pay I need. Well, I do need to keep the lights on, but
Helps. Definitely helps.
We do need electricity.
Now, obviously, as somebody that is so regimented, that has such lofty goals, and for good reason, a part of some kind of ideology is becoming this full functioning athlete is cheat days, right? And you are a foodie, Miss
How dare you?
So I want to know, what is your favorite cheat day meal or thing to kind of indulge in when you can?
Should I give you my cheat day?
Ooh, the whole day.
There's a cheat day. There's a cheat day.
I've seen the rocks.
Okay, breakfast. Sausage, bacon, just a little bit of eggs. I don't like eggs that well. So I don't normally eat that. So normally I do, when I had a diet, I get half a cup of oatmeal, nothing, just water mixed in, and blueberries and raspberries. That's how I maintain my weight, and it gives me enough fuel and blah, 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 blah. But if I'm going to really go for it, I just need a straight up, I need a short stack. I need some serious bacon though, serious bacon, buttered toast, whatever you got, coffee, just keep it coming. Cream. So that's how I would start my morning. I'm a cheese plate kind of girl. I'm sorry, it's embarrassing, but all the cheese, I can eat a half a block of cheese in one sitting. Wow. Cheese, salami, the cold cuts, just get at it. I need a bottle of white wine to start. I'm a wino for sure. I'm a recovering wino with the pinky. Yes. I try to cut back on the pinky. That's how I warm up my dinner. Yeah. Lunch has got to be Mexican food. I need good Mexican food, rice. I need tacos. I can go taquitos. I could guacamole and chips. You got to warm it up with that, right? And then for dinner, the cheese plate warms you up. By then I'm full, but a good steak and potato with a bottle of red wine, and then a big old chocolate cake or red velvet. Yeah, that's a good day, right?
Rich, yeah, that's pretty rich. I'm just saying,
Thanks a lot. I got to cheat on my diet today.
No, I don't want to be the one that sends
your
you down
fault.
the tails.
You gotta be talking about it.
No, dang it! Protein shakes and barbell plates. That's what we're doing, right?
Okay, I'll pull it together.
There you go. Now, Rachel, there have been numerous people that have helped you both professionally as well as personally, help you attain what you have to this day. So I want you to take all the time you need. Let's get some shout outs out of the way.
Okay, first I gotta say my boyfriend, who also works here at the gym, his Instagram. Why are you so happy about that? You're like, get it.
Anybody that's supporting somebody in their exploits.
You're so, yeah, I don't know if you've seen him on his Instagram. He's incredibly strong, ridiculously strong, and that's what attracted to me in the first place. Okay, exactly. I finally met a man who's stronger than me. Yeah, that's real important. It gets weird if it's not like that. So anyways, he's super strong. His Instagram is Thomas the Tank Strongman, for good reason. Thomas Miller. And he also went to the Arnold's Classic Strongman. He qualified for that. And he's just freakishly strong. And it's really, actually, he's the one that's really helped me kind of figure out all of these crazy movements and the log. And, he introduced all those to me. And it's been a really nice road to be able to share that with somebody. And, we work all day together too. He's a great coach, and he coaches at my gym as well. And then Christina Kramer, she works for me as well. And literally when the pandemic hit, she was actually one of my clients, and she just stepped it up for me. She's great with electronics, and I'm not. As you know, I try to get in. I could. She's actually a teacher, and so she's gone right now. But she comes in, and she's just done nothing but anything I need. I don't know why. Like, God has helped me bring these wonderful two people to my life, and they've saved my life many times, especially during this pandemic. I couldn't have done it without them. I still can't do it without them. They know my vision, and they're going to help my vision come true, and they're a huge part of that. And I would say those two. Of course, there's many, many, many people I can thank, but right now, it doesn't get any better than those two.
Yeah, I love it. And shout out to the daughter. Shout out to your daughter.
I was going to say my daughter, but I don't like saying her name in public, though. You know how weird things are. But my daughter, she's only 11, and she's in that home study right now. So, she's kicking butt doing that.
Hell yes.
Where's that brain?
Damn right. That's tremendous. Now, the $1 million question. For people to contact you and Divinity Athletics on social media, where can they find you?
Okay, our Instagram is Divinity Athletics. That's our page. You can also go to our website, divinityathletics.com, and you can sign up for a free class. Try that strongman class. Also, we have that specialized class on Saturday. It's 2 hours. It takes us 2 hours to take all of our cool pieces of equipment. We have a Conan wheel, something similar to the one you're talking about. We have a Viking press. We have the cake toss. We have all those specialty strongman items, and it takes time to take it out. So we don't do those specialty items during the week. We do them on Saturday, and it's a 2-hour clinic every single weekend. Now, it's not 2 hours of just like, working, but we explain all of the details. We work our technique, and then of course we have a good time just working hard too. But it's a 2-hour clinic every Saturday, and first one's free, and all the classes during the week also are available. And you can sign up on the website, or you could go to my Instagram, drop in my DM, but don't get too crazy. Rachel Anne Carillo is my handle.
I love it. No, Rachel, thank you so much. This is cool because again, we got to know each other, and then do the social media thing. But beyond the social media posts and everything like that, the story, that's the meat and potatoes of everything. So I feel like yes, we're friends, but like we've become even closer via this podcast. So it's just amazing. Virtual hug. Yeah, that's it. Oh, I need cream on my elbows. Jesus, I need lotion.
Get some cream.
Yeah, I know. But thank you so much for joining us here. Thank you guys for joining us here at According to Woods. And if you haven't already done so, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Yes, we're on Twitch. But Rachel, you're subscribed, right?
Oh yeah, right. I was there. I was your first subscriber.
Damn right. Hell yes.
So I love it. I love what you're doing. I thank you for letting us voice us even small time, I guess you would say, athletes be able to voice what we're doing and getting our story out. I think what you're doing is pretty great. So thank you. I appreciate it.
You're too kind. If you're small potatoes, I don't know, whatever. Your Instagram account is literally like 8 times larger than mine. So I'm just saying thank you for sharing space with me.
All right. You just have to take a picture in a bikini. That's all.
I will lose followers 10 points.
Oh, okay. Bikinis.
Yes, but be like Rachel, be like me. Go ahead and subscribe to the According to Woods podcast. But if you don't take our word for it, and I don't know why you wouldn't, here's Pro Wrestler Zeta Zhang.
Hey, this is Zeta Zhang. Make sure you subscribe